Okay, hi everyone, and welcome to today's new features webinar. My name is Jeevan Toki, and I'm your host for today. So today we'll be taking you through two of our last updates, released obviously during October and towards the end of September there. So today's session will be recorded like all of our new features webinars. So if you do need to leave early at any stage or miss any parts of it, the recording will be available on our YouTube channel. As always, if you do have any questions, please enter them into the Q&A panel. And we've got some of our team members, Eric, Justin, and Sid, who are more than happy to answer any of the questions that you do have. Okay, so the first feature we want to take you through is around post-year year-end accruals. So using the tax data automation screen, you do have the ability now to, I suppose, work out the difference between the net cash distribution and the actual cash payments that have been posted. So that really the amount between what should be being paid in cash and what actually has been paid. And it automatically posts an accrual journal at 30th of June of the particular financial year. So let's go through and take a look at that. Okay, so jumping now into Simple Fund 360, go across to Compliance Distribution Tax Automation. So for anyone unfamiliar with this screen, we crowdsource the data for year-end tax components for managed funds and ETFs. And what we can do is use that to automatically validate the amounts that have been entered during the year, or use that to automatically enter the distributions in terms of the tax components there at year-end. So the new feature post accruals is an addition to that. So within this screen, you have the ability to generate tax data or post accruals, and it doesn't matter which order you do things in. So you don't have to worry if you've done one particular action before the other. So let's go through and look at the post accruals. So you'll find that button up top here, and we'll go and locate that one. So you can see here for this particular SMSF, I've got one managed fund, one ETF, and you can see within that, it's showing what the actual expected net cash distribution should be and the amounts that have actually been posted to the ledger. So you can see for the first one there, IVV, there is a difference there of 5,484, and it's suggesting to post that there to the ledger. For the second one there, which is Vanguard, it's showing that the amount there is equal to what's expected. The accrual journals are already been posted, so I don't need to post that one there. So let's go through and do that. So I'll click on that particular transaction. I'd like to post it. Okay, it's going to confirm, yes, would I like to post the following journals? So in this case, if you do have multiple managed funds, you can go through and do that in bulk. You don't have to do it one by one. Okay, so enter in the accrual journal and click on confirm. Okay, so as we go through and look at that one there. What you can do, again, for anyone unfamiliar with the screen, is also generate your tax data there at year end. So let's look at that for IVV as well. So I can select that particular one and generate tax data. Okay, so with that, it'll show underneath, starting at the very top, it'll show all the transactions in terms of cash journals which have been paid during the year, and any accrual transactions which have gone through. And then based on the data that we have on hand there, it'll show what it's going to post in terms of the tax component. So obviously there can be cases where because of the cents per unit, there might be rounding issues or anything that may take place. But you can go through, confirm, you can edit any of these as if required, if it doesn't match the actual statement. Otherwise, you can go through and click on generate and mark as reviewed, and it'll automatically post that. So once that's actually gone through, it will be automatically done, and it's the same with the others. So if you are utilizing our work papers, you will also notice on our work paper screen, you will get a warning if there are any outstanding securities that haven't had their tax data reviewed, and same in terms of the fund dashboard. Okay, so let's jump now into the transaction screen. So what you'll see there for the transaction screen, so if I filter there for IVV. Okay, so you see there two transactions which have been posted. So we can see here the first one, which is the accrual, which is going there obviously to the receivables account and to the distribution account. And then obviously the one for the tax component data, which is entered there at year end. So if you do need to reverse that at any stage, you can just easily select the transaction and click on delete. And the same obviously applies to the tax amount data if you do need to review that at any, I suppose, remove that at any stage going through. In the next financial year, we do have a data feed in place. The cash components or cash transactions should automatically be allocated to the 618 account that do come in. So there's nothing additional you do need to do in terms of reversing that out into the new financial year. Obviously, if you're enter the transactions in, if you're entering the transactions in at a date after the actual cash payment for the next financial come in and the transaction matching has already taken place, you may need to make some minor adjustments in those particular cases. Okay, so going through here, the next one is digital signing. So the feature here is around the ability to add now custom reports that can be added into the reports pack that can be done into the report pack, which I'll show in just a second. Before that takes place, let's go through and do a quick poll. So asking the question, do you currently use digital signing in Simple Fund 360 or Simple Invest 360? So as you can see there, only 16% of the audience today currently utilizes, I suppose, digital signing within our products. But it's great to see, I guess, that 31% there are planning to. So, so for those that are interested, you can see obviously those 4 providers there on screen are the ones that we do support. And I suppose if you do need any help with the way, please reach out obviously to our support or your account manager at any given stage. So as I mentioned, the feature we've now added into Simple Fund 360 and Simple Invest 360 is the ability for custom documents to be inserted in. So let's go through and have a look at that. So we'll jump across here to the report screen. Okay, so with this particular function, obviously the custom reports that you may already have in place, you will need to edit those and add in the anchors that we do have in our documents. So again, if I go through and have a look, I've got here, in this particular case, a sample engagement letter. So for anyone, again, unfamiliar with this process, we do have the ability for custom reports for you to enter in merge fields, which will automatically pick up the relevant bits of data from Simple Fund 360. Okay, so scrolling, I'll just scroll down into the end. So there is in our sort of custom templates at the moment, there is anchors such as this one that need to be inserted into the document so that Simple Fund 360 and Simple Invest 360 know exactly where to put in the signature and which actual documents require a signature or not. So as I mentioned, any custom ones that need to be done in that particular case need to be inserted in and saved. So I'll just minimize that. Okay, and as mentioned, what you'll need to do is go in and upload it into Simple Fund. So I'll go in and add this sample engagement letter. Then we'll go through and you can see it's automatically picked up here that it's enabled there for signing. Okay, so you can go through and it should do that. So if you do upload it in and you do find it's not stating that, obviously just review the templates again. And if you do have any issues with that, please go through and contact our support desk and we can help you guide you through the process. So I'll click on confirm and then I'll save that there into our documents. So we've got now that particular one going through and I'm going to go and add it there into my report pack. So with that particular report pack, obviously you can select the relevant, depending on the field selected, you can select the relevant people, depending on the document, how many signatures are in place and what's going through with that. So I'll click on the digital signing button, which will take me now through the digital signing screen. So you can see here now I've got FewSign, one of the providers already enabled for this particular one. It's stating that a signature has been selected. So I'm going to go back to my report screen and select the signature. So there, and what can also be done as going through there, you can also upload third-party documents into the report pack, okay? And with the third-party documents, these can either be signed or not signed. So I'm going to select a document here, which could be something like, for example, an invoice. And for that particular invoice, it might not require signing. So it'll upload it in, it'll if you do tick with the enable signing button, it will state that there's no digital signing anchors. You can upload obviously those additional documents in there as well. Going through. I'm going to quit that one out and cancel out for that one. So with those particular documents, obviously send it off there for signing. Going through, obviously, for anyone unfamiliar with the digital signing process, you will see that obviously there is ability for two-factor authentication in terms of SMS authentication. And if I go through to our confirmation screen, you do also have the ability for priority signing. So this is an example where you might have multiple people that you need sign in particular order. So let's say there's a particular document you want signed, by the trustees prior to the accountant signing it, or maybe the auditor signing it. You can actually use the priority group so that once all the trustees sign, it will then be sent to the accountant who will then sign it. So obviously for this particular one, it'll go through and it'll only be signed by the one particular person here, which is Dean Smart. So that'll go through and send across. Okay, and that's now sent out for signing as we go through. One other feature we've also added, if I go across now to the document screen, is we've added more statuses and information onto the actual document screen there as well. So you can see here that I've got a couple different ones I've done here in terms of the last few days, just to show the different in examples. Okay, so for the ones which obviously have been signed, so I'll go, expand this particular one. It will actually show a status of when it was actually sent out, when it was actually signed, and obviously when each of the signatories have signed it with his multiple signatories, and actually go through and actually complete that. In terms of ones that have either been voided or declined, again, it'll show the relevant options there and things. And where someone has declined it, you can actually see the reason if they have entered one in, and it'll show that on the particular report screen. Okay, so we can go through and signing. In terms of actual documents, you will see, for the actual users, they will receive an email similar to this, where they can go through and actually click the link, go through and sign the particular documents as it does go through. Cool. So in terms of onto the next section here, in terms of data feeds. So with the data feeds, we've had some enhancements and I guess a new data feed that's been added through. So for any SMSFs that are utilizing premium, that's now changing to a new format, and this is a staggered approach, I believe. And with this, it does support, I guess, foreign transactions of foreign currencies. So it does have those enhancements where there was a mismatch between what was actually seen on the premium platform versus what we were receiving there in BGL. So premium themselves have done some enhancements to this, and it's now got some added information through. For our broker data feeds, you will see there Alignment Capital has now been added. So if you do have any clients that are utilizing Alignment Capital, that's now supported. And the third one we have there is Digital Surge. So Digital Surge is a crypto exchange here in Australia, which obviously, again, if you do have any clients utilizing them, you can have automatically bring it through all buy sells for the crypto transactions, as well as any sort of income, staking, or additional information, I think including balances that they do have. We are running a webinar with Digital Surge on the 3rd of November. So if it's something of interest to yourself or your clients, please have a look on our website for the link there and go through and register for that. In terms of the Digital Surge one, so that can be set up through the feed management screen in terms of wraps and platforms. So you can find that on the wraps and platforms global there. And if you go and set it up, you'll find there Digital Surge there set up there. They go through, need to enter in the account ID, select which bank account it is by default, and then that, and obviously set up the process as per the instructions on Digital Surge's side as well. Okay, so next one is pay-as-you-go lump sum. So I won't go through and demo this one, but we now support amendments. So where there is details within the form that needs to be updated, and obviously the need requires for an amendment to be lodged through to the ATO, Simple Fund 360 does support that. So obviously within the application, you will find that under under the compliance menu, pay-as-you-go payment summary, that will go through and bring through the information there automatically. Very similar to the tax returns within Simple Fund, that you can only lodge an amendment where the original form has been sent using Simple Fund 360. So if it has been sent via the paper version or another method, we don't unfortunately support the ability to lodge amendment in that particular case. Okay, corporate actions. So the 6 mergers or 5 mergers shown there on screen are all now supported. So again, they'll just come through automatically that do take place. So if you do have, I suppose, securities that hold those going forward into the new financial year, you will see those automatically come through. Okay, across now to Simple Invest 360. So great enhancement done with Simple Invest 360. So for anyone who's got a company that obviously has a CGT portfolio, we now have the ability to generate the tax return within Simple Invest 360. So that's obviously a huge time saver. So obviously with any trust that you do have within Simple Invest 360, the trusts already have the ability to lodge the tax return, but we now have that as part of the year-end workflow. So what I'll do here quickly is demonstrate the year-end workflow for anyone who hasn't seen that before. So for the companies, if you go through and start the workflow, it'll calculate obviously all the taxable income for the particular company that's going through, and you can add in any adjustments or anything that is needed at that particular point. Obviously allocate to reserves if needed, and depending on the policies there of the company. It'll display a dividend screen, so obviously displaying all shareholders and the types of, also the classes of shares that do have, and you do have the ability obviously to pay out. I'm going to pay out in this case. Let's pay out 70% of the earnings as a dividend. And obviously they can go through and it'll automatically calculate that based on the shares on hand. So it'll go through, as you can see there, it'll create the actual dividend statements and pay that out. So the next part, as described, is a new part. So this is where it actually now all populates there, going through into the company tax return. So this will be supported for the 22 year onwards. So with that, obviously everything will be populated and you will have the ability to adjust things, lodge using Simple Fund 360 as you can for obviously the trust tax return and SMSF return there as well. Obviously everything will be validated there going forward. So that will be something we will have available soon. We are currently going through the process of ATO approval for electronic lodgements. So we will have the ability there to electronically lodge them very shortly. So the other one there for Simple Invest, so for any not-for-profits, is we've added the ability to generate a not-for-profit audit report, as you can see there. And obviously that has the particular format that's required for that. And like all our letters of minutes, you do have the ability to customize that, as I showed prior. Okay, so going back to, coming soon. So the two major things coming soon is for our practice management sync. So you would have seen in some of the prior webinars, we released a new practice management sync with Xero Practice Manager. And obviously, if anyone who's interested, we do have a recorded webinar, which is available online as well. But the team's currently finalizing the integration there with APS. So that will, again, for any firms there utilizing APS, what this will mean is you will have the ability to sync your clients and contacts. with those within Simple Fund 360 and CAS 360 if you do have that as well. And it means, for example, any change made in one particular product will automatically flow through to another. So an example might be change of address for a particular record, or it might be things in terms of, let's say, syncing something like an ABN. You do have the ability there to view clients which are not in a particular system and add them into the system which don't exist. So look out for that. And then our plans is to roll out other practice management systems as well. Common question we get there is, we in terms of the integration, we can only support cloud-based systems. So if you do have a desktop-based practice management system, we can't unfortunately support those. However, any of the cloud vendors out there, we're more than happy to integrate with. As I touched on just before, we will have the ability to lodge the company tax return very shortly. And one thing we're also looking at, which I didn't add a slide there for, is for the tax data automation. We are looking at getting a data feed for a lot more managed funds. So we're looking at a list of up to 2,000 managed funds, which will have all the tax component data available for, and will reduce the need to, obviously, for us to crowdsource that data. It will mean you will have that available as soon as it is supplied by the relevant fund manager. So we'll announce more details on that once it is confirmed. If you have any questions at any stage, please reach out to our support team and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions or anything we've covered today. We thank you for attending. Have a good day.